With only 5 days left, I decided to finally be the understanding boyfriend Chloe always said she wanted. Christmas was coming, and I didn't even argue when she decided to spend it with her childhood friend, Leo, instead of me. I just let him have whatever he wanted. He wanted Chloe to stay with him late into the night? That was fine. He wanted the handmade bracelet she had made for me? I gave it to him. He even wanted to use the house my mother left me as collateral for a loan, and I just handed him the deed without arguing. Chloe seemed relieved. She told me I was finally doing well and to keep it up. I didn't care anymore. None of it mattered. In 5 days, none of this would be my problem. I am applying to leave this world, I said to the interface. Please confirm if you want to leave, said the cold, mechanical voice. It was the standard second confirmation. If I agreed this time, I'd be gone in 5 days. Since it was already evening, it was really only 4 days left. I looked down at the cold, greasy food in my hands and softly said, confirm. The next second, I threw the food into the trash. There was plenty more on the table. Chloe wasn't here. She had promised a week ago to spend our 3-year anniversary and Christmas together, but she never showed up. I didn't have to guess where she was. She was with Leo. With Christmas so close, I felt a wave of sadness, remembering it was this same time of year when Chloe and I first got together, 3 years ago. I wiped a tear from my eye, got myself together, and went back to work. All that mattered was getting through the next few days. I still had dishes to clear and wanted to take down the Christmas decorations around the house. I'd picked them all out days ago. Chloe said she would be here to help, which had made me so happy I bought way too many strings of lights. As I was getting down from a chair after taking them down, I lost my balance and twisted my ankle badly. I cried out in pain and, out of habit, dialed Chloe's number. It rang for a long time before the call just ended on its own. I realized I was just embarrassing myself by calling her. Leo, after all, was the one she was designed to be with. And I was just an outsider. 3 years ago, I was given access to this world and a chance to win Chloe over. Normally, a childhood friend like Leo wouldn't even reappear once I was involved, as I was supposed to become the new center of her life. But I don't know what went wrong with this world. Not only did Leo return from overseas, but my relationship with Chloe stopped progressing completely. Her affection for me dropped sharply after he came back. It got worse when he accused me of causing trouble, and Chloe became cold toward me. She wouldn't listen to my explanations. I fell for her during this process. I genuinely wanted to win her heart and spend my life with her. But I was just getting let down over and over. So, before this Christmas, I decided to give up the mission and leave this world for good. My ankle was throbbing and swelling up. The stabbing pain was so bad I couldn't stand on it, so I had to call an ambulance. I spent the night in the hospital getting it treated. The next day, I woke up to an angry call from Chloe. Her voice cut right through my groggy mind. "Mark, where did you go? The house is a total mess. What are you trying to pull? You didn't wash the dishes, you left the food out, and what about those things all over the windows? Where the hell did you go?" Before I could even answer, she continued her rant. She didn't even seem to think it was strange that I had just disappeared. My eyes started to tear up. She used to tell me not to work so hard. Now I miss one night of cleaning and she treats me like I'm her servant. How did she change so much? Was it just the setup of this world? Or was she always like this and I just picked the wrong person? "Chloe, maybe Mark had something urgent." Leo's voice came through the phone, pretending to calm her down while just making it worse. "He didn't have anything urgent. He just got lazy this time and hid away," Chloe snapped, not caring. Choking back tears, I held on to one last bit of hope. "Chloe, I'm in the hospital. Could you come by and cover the medical bill if you're free?" I thought she might at least ask why I was in the hospital. Instead, she sounded suspicious. "Why don't you have money? You want me to pay the bill? Where did all your money go?" "Remember, It all went to groceries, I frowned. After believing Leo's lies, Chloe stopped letting me control our shared money and only gave me an allowance. She didn't trust me, thinking I was reckless. But with Leo, money was never an issue. She let him have anything he wanted. Whatever illness it is, you probably had it coming. That's karma for wasting food. After Chloe said that, she hung up on me. I kept telling myself to just hang on for 4 more days. Just 4 more days, and I'd be back in my own world. Thinking about it that way, I started looking online for sites where I could sell some things. I figured I could sell some accessories to cover the hospital bill. But while I was sending photos to potential buyers, I found out that all the jewelry Chloe had gifted me after Leo came back was fake. I never expected that from her. She didn't want to buy me gifts, but when she did, they were all cheap fakes. It would have been better if she hadn't bothered at all. Feeling completely defeated, I ended up selling the bracelet that belonged to my mother in this world to pay the bills. My mom here had already passed away when I arrived. Besides the bracelet, she left me a house. I never met her, but from the way the house was decorated, she seemed to really love me. I hoped she would understand. That afternoon, with my ankle in a cast, I left the hospital and went home. As soon as I opened the door, I saw the two of them sitting on the couch, laughing together. "You still know how to come back." "Home," Chloe said with a sneer, drying Leo's hair with a towel. Leo looked like he had just taken a shower. He was wearing warm loungewear, his delicate collarbones showing, looking so comfortable. But all I could focus on was Chloe drying his hair, just like she used to do for me. Back then, she had sworn she would only ever dry my hair. I didn't realize at the time that her promises had rusted, just like our relationship. "Mark, sorry, I didn't mean to bother you and Chloe. My house has a frozen pipe. I had no choice but to come over. I hope you don't mind," Leo said, sounding apologetic when I just stood there silently. "Don't waste your breath on him," Chloe sneered. In her eyes, I was now just a petty freeloader, not worth an explanation. The living room suddenly felt cramped. Chloe turned the hairdryer back on and kept drying Leo's hair, ignoring me. They went on discussing their college days. I couldn't add anything to that conversation. Not wanting to disturb them, I went straight to my room. But then I overheard Chloe. "Leo, you don't need to be so polite. He owes you." "But Chloe, Mark is your boyfriend. I really did trouble you guys this time. How can I not apologize?" Leo replied, pretending to be sincere. "Leo, you're always so kind. That's why he takes advantage of you. We shouldn't be so easy on him." Listening to them, I felt a bitter taste in my mouth. He was acting all regretful, but if he truly felt sorry, he shouldn't have come back here at all. I told myself not to get mad. Just 3 more days, and none of this would matter. As I was thinking that, Leo popped his head into my room, flashing a fake smile when he saw me. "Mark, I just wanted to say sorry for disturbing you. Hope you don't mind. Oh, is that a wooden pendant?" I didn't respond. He came in on his own, grabbed the wooden pendant from my desk, and started looking at it closely. I thought he'd just look, but then he asked shamelessly, "Can I have this?" "It's fine, take it," I said, staring at the pendant. I knew what he was doing, but I was too tired to argue. He wanted it, so I'd let him have it, just like I was letting him have Chloe. The pendant was ordinary, except Chloe had carved it herself. I remembered 3 years ago, when I first arrived, handcrafted items were popular, and Chloe wanted to make one for me. She went out of her way to pick the best wood, getting her hands all scraped up in the process. I recalled her bright eyes as she held out the slightly rough pendant, saying she had a gift for me. I was so happy back then. I actually believed I could win her over and spend my life with her. That pendant was a symbol of our commitment. It was why we made our relationship official. Mark, please? I saw you have plenty of other accessories. It won't be a hassle, right? Lost in my thoughts, I had unconsciously ignored Leo, which made him pout dramatically. His actions caught Chloe's attention. She came into the room, saying, "Mark, have you been picking on Leo again? I knew it when he said he'd apologize. You wouldn't, huh? Is that a pendant?" Halfway through her rant, she suddenly spotted the pendant in Leo's hand. She looked surprised and hesitated. Then Leo asked tentatively, "Chloe, I really like this pendant. Can I have it?" I figured, given how things were, she'd agree immediately. But she seemed awkward instead. "Leo, I made that pendant. It's rough. Let me make you a better one." "But Chloe, crafting it must have been hard. I heard it's easy to get hurt," Leo objected, pretending to be concerned. I sensed trouble. Chloe was starting to compare me with him again. She seemed to remember how tough it had been to make the pendant for me, and her gaze turned cold. "Leo still worries about me getting hurt, but all you care about is asking when the pendant will be ready. Mark, sometimes I really doubt if you ever loved me." I almost laughed at how ridiculous that was. How could she ask if I loved her? Back when she started working on it, I remember telling her repeatedly to stop when I saw the cuts on her hands. What happened to all that? Chloe probably thought I was feeling guilty because I didn't respond, so she straightened up and said, "Since Leo doesn't mind, just give it to him. You've never worn it anyway." She went on, expecting me to get angry, but I didn't. By the time she said her second sentence, I had already handed the pendant to Leo. That caught Chloe off guard. She looked at me, then awkwardly said, "Well, at least you have some sense." "Thanks, Mark." Leo was all smiles. During all of this, neither of them asked why I had a cast on my leg, or why I'd been at the hospital. The two of them stayed lovey-dovey outside for a while before Chloe walked Leo out. She had a cold look on her face when she got back to me. "Mark, what's with you being so obedient lately? I gave the pendant to Leo, and you didn't even react. You better keep that attitude towards him." I gave her a confused look. "Chloe, you always wanted me to listen, and now that I am, this is how you act?" Before I decided to leave, I had tried really hard to save my relationship with Chloe. We always fought about Leo. Ever since he came back, Chloe hardly ever came home, always claiming she was working late. I remember last year on my birthday, I cut the cake alone, made a wish, and called her. She said she was working late, but she was actually with Leo, who was supposedly scared during a power outage. Leo had posted a thank you note and a suggestive photo on his social media. Of course, I fought with Chloe about that. I really did love her. I even asked the interface countless times what was going on. Wasn't I the one who was supposed to win her over? The voice always coldly said there was an error being fixed and that I'd be compensated later. I kept waiting, hoping for that error to be fixed and for the woman I knew to come back. But in the end, I was just left heartbroken. In my previous life, I was an orphan, grew up with hardships and was always alone. I knew I was starved for love, which is why I cherished every bit of it here. Sadly, it seemed like this was beyond saving. I looked at Chloe and said calmly, "I don't have a hidden agenda. He wanted it, so I gave it to him. It's just a wood carving." Chloe stared at me with a doubtful look. "I just feel like you're up to something, Mark. If you really have no grudge against Leo, there's something you can do to prove it." I frowned, suspecting whatever came next wouldn't be good. "And true enough," she continued, "I remember your aunt left you a house, right? Leo's been dreaming of starting a business since he got back, but he doesn't have the funds. If you can mortgage your house to raise money for him, I'll believe you've changed." I sighed deeply. This was something she had mentioned a year ago. I didn't agree then, but she hadn't forgotten. I hesitated for a couple of seconds, then fetched the deed from the cabinet and handed it to her. "Sure, take it." As I handed it over, I silently apologized to my mother in this world, but I was just tired. I didn't want to fight anymore. "Really? Just like that?" Chloe sounded puzzled, cautiously taking the deed. She flipped through it a few times before she finally believed it. "So you have changed for the better," she said, surprised, then hurried out excitedly. I knew she was going to tell Leo his dream had funding. Sure enough, a while later, Leo posted about it on social media. He tagged Chloe, thanking her for the startup funds. I quietly liked the post and began clearing out my stuff. I started to toss what needed tossing and donate what could be donated. Since I'd decided to leave, I'd leave completely. Chloe didn't come home that night. The next day, I got a call from her. "Mark, Leo wants to treat you to dinner as a thank you for your investment. He says he'll cook a feast." Her pride was obvious in her voice. I wasn't sure why his cooking thrilled her so much. I thought of refusing, but then reconsidered. I didn't have much time left. Might as well have a free meal and say my goodbyes. "Got it," I said, and got ready to go. But when I got there, it was nothing like the grand feast I imagined. I walked in to see Leo in a newly bought apron, looking lost in the kitchen. "Mark, give me a hand, will you? Leo's not great in the kitchen." As soon as Chloe saw me, she immediately had me replace Leo. I didn't make a fuss, just washed my hands and headed into the kitchen. I'm actually pretty good at cooking. I made a whole feast for our 3rd anniversary, so this was no big deal. "Thanks a ton, Mark," Leo said, half-heartedly helping me for a moment. But soon enough, Chloe called him away, and he slipped back into the living room with her to chat and laugh. In the kitchen, I was making noise chopping ribs, realizing they probably just wanted me to cook all along while pretending to treat me. Ever since I stopped caring, their little schemes were glaringly obvious. Wasn't I supposed to make those braised shrimp? Where are the shrimp? When I asked about the missing ingredients, Leo was quick to jump back in, pretending to be helpful. "I forgot to buy them. Mark, take a break. I'll go get the shrimp." Chloe, watching TV in the living room, overheard and matter-of-factly told me to go instead. "Let Mark go. Leo, you don't know how to pick shrimp." I glanced at her indifferent face, sighed, but decided not to stir up any drama with just 2 days left. It was better to end things peacefully. After all, as Chloe said, everything was my debt to Leo. "All right, I'll head out," I said, as I opened the door, glancing back at Chloe. She didn't even spare me a glance. I sighed, stepped out, and walked toward the elevator. But as I was passing by the stairwell, someone suddenly dragged me inside. I couldn't even scream before I felt an intense coldness in my chest, followed by a searing pain. As my vision faded, the mechanical voice spoke in my ear. "Your vital signs are dropping. Pain inhibitors engaged. Please do not panic. This is your designated return path." Just then, I clearly heard a voice angrily cursing. It finally made me notice the menacing figure before me. He looked like a middle-aged man with a buzz cut and bloodshot eyes. Even after my body lost all feeling, he kept stabbing, ranting maniacally. "It's all your fault! Messing with my business! Made me do time for nothing! All you! I'll take you down!" It took a while for me to snap out of my fear. Staring at his frenzied face, a vague familiarity flashed through my mind, and I finally recognized him. He was the criminal who had once tried to assault Leo. Prison hadn't changed him. It had made him worse. "Hello. The return channel is now open," the voice said. "Please be patient. You will return to your original world in 1 day." With a sigh, my consciousness stepped back, resigned to wait. The man smirked grimly, wiped the blood off his face, tossed the knife away, and left. With nowhere to go, my spirit drifted back to Leo's apartment, staying near Chloe. I noticed a trace of annoyance on her face as she waited. What's taking Mark so long? Seriously, buying shrimp isn't this hard. She seemed to have a hunch and pulled out her phone to call me. No answer. I can't believe he's ignoring the call. Is he kidding? Not coming back? Might as well be dead out there. Chloe was furious. Maybe Mark still holds a grudge against me, Leo speculated, feigning remorse. Maybe he didn't really want to come. The thought of my body lying in a pool of blood, incapable of answering, felt absurd. I'll go check, Chloe finally decided. Mark never just leaves without saying anything. Angry, she poked her head out the door, but quickly pulled back, unwilling to even change her shoes. Just a couple of steps outside, she would have seen my body. As she returned, she vented, "So he just left? What's his problem?" Back inside, Leo looked at the cooking. "Maybe we shouldn't wait. I'll just order the shrimp." The delivery guy was quick, but just as he was about to knock, a scream echoed through the hallway. There's a body! What the hell? What's with the noise?" Chloe snapped, opening the door, only to find the delivery guy collapsed, wide-eyed and trembling. Chloe frowned, curious, and stepped into the hallway. There she was, face to face with my lifeless body. She froze, only able to stammer, How could it be you, Mark?" Leo soon followed, shrieking in shock. Neighbors came out, some screaming, some calling the police. The cops arrived, swiftly. The coroner came in and whispered to the police. The victim had over 20 stab wounds, been dead for less than an hour. Suspect premeditated revenge. "Please, you have to find the killer," Chloe said tearfully, her eyes bloodshot. I watched her, unable to understand. Just an hour ago, she was wishing I would die. The next day, the police showed up. "Chloe, we got the killer. Please come down to the station. Is Leo here too? We'd like him to come along." Chloe looked relieved, then glanced at Leo with confusion. At the station, Chloe instantly recognized the man and exploded. "It's you! The one who harassed Leo 2 years ago. Why did you kill Mark? Wasn't he the one who put you up to it?" She was so focused that she didn't notice the panic in Leo's eyes. The middle-aged man smirked. "Why did I kill him? He ruined my plans. I just wanted to give him a beating back then." He glanced at Leo with contempt. "I remember your pretty boy here. I couldn't stand him 2 years ago. I was about to teach him a lesson when that kid got in the way. He called the cops and got me locked up for 2 years, so I stabbed him." Chloe's eyes widened. She had always believed I was the mastermind because Leo never told her otherwise. "Did Mark save you?" Chloe asked Leo, her voice breaking. "No, I mean, I wanted to explain, but you were too angry, Chloe. I was scared." Leo's frantic, messy explanation only made it worse. Chloe watched him in disbelief. Finally realizing that she had wronged me. The man, hearing all this, laughed loudly. "It's all his own damn fault." "Shut up, you murderer!" Chloe screamed, then turned to Leo. "How could you let me misunderstand him all this time? For 2 years, Leo, I never thought you'd be this kind of person." Chloe was furious, trying to hit them before the cops held her back. I watched all this with no emotion. I had tried to explain before. She never believed me. Soon I'd be gone. During the argument, Chloe slapped Leo hard across the face. He was stunned, then his face twisted, losing all his usual soft demeanor. "How dare you hit me? What if I can't stand him? You used to love me the most. Why change your mind? Chloe, you act like you're some saint, but you've always come running whenever I called." "What did you say?" The two of them had a huge fight, ending with Leo storming out. Angrily. The interrogation room fell silent. Chloe sat down and just broke down in tears, crying out my name. Connection to your original world is established. Ready to return? The voice asked. Yes, I whispered, feeling myself becoming lighter. Chloe seemed to sense something. She turned, suddenly, like she saw me and tried to rush over. Mark, is that you? Don't go! Don't go! Watching her, I closed my eyes. Who cares? Time flew by, and I've been back in my own world for over 6 months. When I first returned, the interface apologized for the bug in that world that tainted my experience. They promised to send me compensation in cash. Since I died so miserably, I got some extra money on top of what I already had. It was enough for me to live comfortably in the real world. I was pleased, and even gave the service a good review. The interface seemed satisfied and said goodbye. With this money, I started to live well, and soon forgot all about Chloe and Leo. Then one day, the long, silent interface came online. Hello, Mark. Long time no see. Remember that world from before? We've run into some issues. I was sipping coffee, and hearing its voice startled me. What? Well, while fixing some bugs, we found some corrupted code, like Leo's personality issues. Now, the heroine, Chloe, has become an anomaly too. She knows everything, and is willing to trade her entire fortune to see you. Is that okay? Just hearing her name threw me off. I almost refused, but realizing she'd give up everything for it, I agreed. After all, you can never have too much money. A bus pulled up, and a ragged woman got off. After 6 months, I was looking at Chloe again, but I didn't recognize her at first. Her hair was dry and yellow, her face was haggard, and she was painfully skinny. Just stepping off the bus, she looked lost. I remembered her world being much more high-tech. I stayed quiet as Chloe stood by the road, searching, until she finally spotted me at the cafe. Her eyes lit up as she rushed toward me, bursting into tears. Mark, I finally found you. Taking a leisurely bite of my cake, I said, Chloe, this is our last meeting. She looked deeply at my face and responded with a bitter smile. It turned out that after Leo left, he disappeared with the loan from the mortgaged house. She was homeless over there. She started sobbing, calling Leo a con artist and saying I was the good guy. She tried to hold my hand. I instinctively backed away, but Chloe was blocked by an invisible barrier. It made sense. She wasn't from this world. Suddenly, I thought of something and asked directly, So you're not in this state because you gave up all your wealth to see me? Chloe, how much money do you actually have left? She struggled against the barrier, looking confused. 200, she replied. I felt utterly jinxed. I took her money with disgust and promptly told the interface to get rid of her. The interface complied, and Chloe felt a force pulling her back. She started, crying out loud. Mark, you can't just send me away. I've got nothing left, Mark. Eventually, Chloe sobbed and was sent back. Don't waste my time unless you have more than 200 next time, I mumbled to the interface, which kept silent. Sensing something, I suddenly sneezed twice. I was wondering who might be cursing me when the interface suddenly spoke. Chloe committed suicide. I frowned, but felt nothing inside, just unlucky. I kept eating, enjoying my life. A final transmission was logged from her file. Hi, Mark. Writing you a letter like this is probably the first time, and also my last. My life was smooth sailing since I was young, with hardly any major problems. Sometimes I noticed people around me finding their destined person who'd pursue them tirelessly, and many ended up happy. I always thought Leo would be my person. Yet after he left for abroad, I realized my destined person hadn't arrived. At least not in my 20-plus years of life. Not until 3 years ago, when I saw you stepping off a bus with a smile. Chloe, remember me? I was your childhood neighbor. At first, I hadn't remembered, but when you spoke, the memories did come back. I started questioning things, but I couldn't help falling for you. Until Leo returned. Everything changed. Sometimes I knew I shouldn't feel the way I did. I'd feel guilty, but those feelings would vanish. I sensed something was wrong with me, but I couldn't fight that overpowering control. I hurt you deeper and deeper. When you died, the control, it was suddenly gone. I suppose the program monitoring me checked that you were no longer a threat. That's why I seemed so on edge then. Once the control was reduced, I confronted Leo fiercely at the police station. I later regretted it, but I couldn't do anything. Since then, I tried finding the source of that control, and I stumbled upon a glitch. But it soon disappeared. It felt like an invisible force was constantly fixing and controlling me. When despair set in, making that wish was the first time the interface ever spoke to me. I finally got a chance to see you again. Even if you didn't give me this chance, just being able to meet you once more, seeing you're doing well, would have been enough. Now I've lost everything. My true intent was to see you, and then end this meaningless life. Mark, I wish we'd meet again in another life. I'd definitely treat you right if I could. Goodbye, Mark. Finishing this message, Chloe closed her eyes and, without hesitation, leaped from the rooftop. What she didn't know was that at the same time, Mark sneezed. Twice, wondering to himself if someone was cursing him.